When Scarlet and Violet were initially announced, fans were skeptical if the game was going to be good. It was following Sword and Shield, debatably one of the worst games the franchise has ever seen, and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were very underwhelming remakes. While Legends Arceus was a decently good game, it wasn't enough for fans to believe Scarlet and Violet would be a successful game. But that all changed when they announced the most innovative Pokemon game to date. It had amazing features, such as inviting your friends to play with you in the same world, Lechonk, Venonat being in the regional Pokedex for the first time since Generation 2, an open world adventure where you can choose your path and go on multiple different storylines, even though it clearly has that course set out for you when you start, since the levels don't scale based on your choice, ultimately proving that there is no free will and the idea of choice is merely an illusion. A fire starter on 4 Among all these other things, Paldean Wooper was one of the Pokemon announced that would make its way into Scarlet and Violet. A poison ground type that had access to water absorb, a decent amount of special defense, and an especially high HP stat. This Pokemon had some serious potential. And then it hit me. After playing through half the game and not touching it for a week, what if I used 6 of these guys to make the most powerful, stool-themed Pokemon team the world has ever seen? I didn't mean for it to rhyme that much, but it just came out that way. And so, I present to you a challenge I don't know if anyone has ever done since I'm too scared to look. Beating Scarlet and Violet with 6 poopers. I'm not playing both Scarlet and Violet, I am playing Pokemon Scarlet. I just wanted you to know, just in case, because I know that was confusing. But I went with it, and I already edited like that part, and then I realized, oh, I don't have, I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm just gonna do that. So yeah, here you go. For this challenge, I set myself some ground rules. I made myself play with a level cap, because it would be boring if I took my beefy boys and beat everyone down with a juiced up Clodsire. Secondly, I would only let myself use held items in battle. No potions, revives, or any of the X attacks, or anything like that. This way, I don't take my beefy boys and beat everyone down with a juiced up Clodsire. Thirdly, I can only switch when it would take an action on my turn. In other words, I'm playing in set mode. This way I can't switch out my really low HP beefy boy to a really high HP beefy boy at no extra cost and then beat everyone with a juiced up Clodsire. And lastly, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Anyway, here's the video. Now I had to put a lot more thought into the starter Pokemon than the average person would. Since I couldn't use the starter I picked at all in the run, I had to answer the question, how can I make this harder for me?
Yeah, I'd like to solve the puzzle.
All right, go ahead.
Sprigatito.
That's it, yeah.
The rival picks the opposite of whatever you pick, so picking Fuecoco gives her Sprigatito, which can't happen because of Clodsire's poison typing, and taking Quaxly wouldn't work because of Clodsire's ground typing, so the only possible option leaves us with Sprigatito, leaving Nemona with Quaxly, which by typing makes this the only possible choice, even though Clodsire has access to water absorb as I said before. But since that chance was only 50%, I decided that this was the best way to handle it. So I name it James Corden, because the hatred I share for these two things are interchangeable, and shove it in the box as soon as I can replace him with my squad of poopers. Behold, the Poop Squad. Now that we've all been acquainted, I can finally go through each and every story of how I defeated every gym leader, titan, and team star boss. Also, this is the pathing I did for the run, in case there were people who didn't know. This is the only way to beat this without over-leveling or making it really difficult for myself. We can start with the very first obstacle, Katie the Bug Gym Leader. Thankfully, it's bug types. Like, they suck. They're so awful. I would absolutely be astonished if there was a YouTuber whose entire persona was enjoying the typing. See, the joke is that there is a YouTuber who does that. The strategy for the gym works like this. Set up toxic spikes, and that's it. That's all I got. And without any other plan, we start the fight with Katie. She leads with Nimble, while I lead with Stinky. Nimble uses Struggle Bug, while I set up the toxic spikes. After they're set up, we both do pathetic bursts of damage due to the type disparity between us. Eventually, our fecal friend is victorious, and she sends out Tarantula. I take the turn to switch out into the Power Twin Uh-oh as she goes for an Assurance, which is doing way more damage than I wanted to. Not that it's a big deal since we did get a Toxic due to the spikes. We trade Assurances and Poison Tails until I'm forced to switch into Captain Poop, taking an Assurance as her spider dies. Lastly is her Teddiursa. The fun thing about these games is that every gym leader has a Pokemon that's not their gym typing, but it's their Terra type. So I know that this Teddiursa is going to Terrasilize. Thanks to the Toxic, this puts our Teddy Bear on a timer. The only issue is, it immediately hit Fury Swipes 5 times. Not to worry as I send in Floater for some revenge as I terrestrialize and go for Poison Tail, but she decides it's the perfect time to set up Fury Cutter, and my attack does pathetic damage. You see kids, Fury Cutter is an attack that does more damage every time it's used in succession, so her bear can technically do a sweep of my team if the Fury Cutter was strong enough. Floater is able to get one more Poison Tail off before he goes down, but with the accruing poison damage, he did do enough for us to secure the win. So I sent in Shatwoman to finish the job, securing us the first badge. The next on my list is Mr. Krabs. Gonna be honest, not as hard as I thought. I taught the pooper low kick, so it really just becomes a classic pooper sweep. After this long and important cutscene with Arven telling us not to give the Koraidon the sandwich, I give the Koraidon my sandwich, and now he can run really fast. The next on my list is Brassius, the grass gym leader. Now I'm just going to say it, the Pokemon gym leaders in Elite Four in this game are really lame, and they're not like cool characters at all. Like this guy just jumps off the building for the name of painting pretty pictures when I can get the same kind of thing I kind of didn't want, but it's like okay enough for me to be like, yeah, I got my $5 worth. I have no idea how this stuff works. I make my own emotes, so I don't really know. Anyways, Brassius isn't that difficult. I mean, I'm a poison type, he's a grass type, it was never going to be difficult. I land a few crits, he misses a lot of attacks, you know, just my normal RNG. His ace, Sudowoodo, is also not that difficult. He immediately terras and goes for Trailblaze, which is basically the grass type flame charge. I'm not sure if anyone knows this or not, but boosting speed against my Woopers is like a pointless thing to do, as you will always outspeed my Woopers no matter what. They have a terrible speed stat, and it really doesn't get any better. Eventually the Sudowoodo goes down because they're no match for my team of Avengers level threats, and the second gym badge is mine. The next stop is the giant stork Bombardier. I'm not really too worried about this bird. I mean, it does have the type advantage over us, like in a way, but I don't know, I'm still very confident. Holy fuck, that's a lot of damage. So Pluck does a lot of damage, and Wing Attack finishes me off as I do a pathetic amount of damage with Poison Tail. Not looking too good right now. I send in Floater and Terrestrialize to try and do more damage with Poison Tail. It goes for Pluck, doing nearly all my damage, but that triggers my Poison Point ability, poisoning it and putting it on a timer. I hit a few Poison Tails, but they are extremely pitiful, and Floater goes down. I send in Shatwoman, who is immediately clobbered, and can only get one Poison Tail off before I'm forced to send in Captain Poop to finish part 1. During part 2 of my face-off against this massive bird, I have to lead with a weak Captain Poop. Thankfully, the Titan goes for Torment, and Arven is coming in clutch with a Knackley, hitting it with Smackdown as I try to keep up with Poison Tail. He goes for Torment again, and I hit it with a Mud Bomb as Arven swings again with another Smackdown. Sadly, the luck ends there. As he finishes Captain Poop with a Pluck, I send out Uh-Oh to take a Wing Attack and get the win against the Stork. I guess you could say I'm the biggest bird.
I'm the biggest bird. I'm the biggest bird.
We have the sandwich bonding moment, and I get to see Arven's character arc unfold. He whips out the Mabostiff and tells me that he's trying to heal the Pokemon with the herbs, and he cares so much about this because he's his lifelong friend. He's pretty much John Wick. The next on the list is Team Star Dark, our first Team Star boss. Now, Team Star is never really that hard as far as clearing the base goes. It just gets very tedious, especially with the game's frame rate issues. Before entering the base, we meet up with another student named Clive. I immediately trust him with his operation, because he would never betray my trust and turn out to be someone else. This is really lazy foreshadowing, but like I don't know what else to do, so. Normally, this battle would be difficult for 6 ordinary poopers, which is why we finally evolved them. That's right, since the level cap is in fact 21, and my Woopers evolve at level 20, it wouldn't be smart to try and handicap myself when I could already have a team of gods. It'd be like making it this far in the video and not subscribing. Oh, you're waiting until the end of the video to do that? Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I get it. That'd be smarter anyway. You know, I was just wondering if you were thinking about it or not. Like, I'll just move on. How about that? I'll just move on. I clear the base of Team Star, which isn't that hard, but I do enjoy how it forces you to become familiar with the auto battle feature. I clear the grunts and move on to the boss battle, Giacomo? I don't know. I like to think of Giacomo as like Grimsley's reject son. You know, because they're like both dark type specialists and they have like weird hair and like that's it. That's all I'm basing this on. He's not difficult at all just because he has a Poniard and a car that can't be statused, and I have a team of newly evolved Pokemon. So I'm gonna spare you the time and skip his battle and just get to the part where we learn he was a dictator when he went to school. More lame character backstory and boss foreshadowing later. We move on to Iono, a Twitch streamer. She's just like me for real. On our way into the 100 Thieves Cash App compound, we find Nimona waiting for us inside, and she challenges us to a battle. You probably noticed that I haven't shown any of Nimona's battles, and that's for pretty good reason. because she sucks. So I'm skipping all of her battles into the last one because that's the only one that matters. After some Where's Waldo and defeating some tier 3 subs, the battle begins with her watch roll, which makes things a little difficult but not impossible. We set up our toxic spikes while she hits us with a surprisingly beefy pluck, but we get a poison point off pretty early, so like, that's pretty cool. We are able to finish it off with a few poison tails, then she sends in a nice good old Bella boy, getting badly poisoned and going for a water gun, as we go for a weak mud shot. We take the turn to switch into Uh-Oh, who has water absorb, so now it can't damage us at all, so we can take it out for free, forcing her to send out Alexia, who is also badly poisoned. She goes for Bite as I accidentally go for Amnesia, which isn't inherently bad if Uh-Oh can live to see Miss Magius, but we take it out no problem. She sends in Miss Magius, and doesn't get Toxic, which should have clued me in that it has Levitate, but my dumbass went for Mudshot. Thankfully the battle isn't that hard as we have enough Clodsires to beat her down, so it's on to the next boss, Mila. Joe many liberals does it take to change a log Bible? Mila leads with a Torkoal and I lead with Stinky. The Torkoal has the ability Drought, which sets up the nice sun weather, boosting their fire move so it hits hard with a flame wheel. But I came prepared and taught Stinky Sandstorm, cancelling the weather and dealing some nice chip damage to Torkoal, which I always thought was a fire rock type, so that was pretty surprising to me. I took the next turn to switch into Uh-Oh because I want to keep Stinky alive to pop another Sandstorm when this one goes out, and we needn't be worried, as Uh-Oh can slowly but surely beat it down with no issue. Mila then sends out her big car. She goes for Screech as we go for a Poison Jab. The reason I opt for Poison Jab over Mudshot is the fact that all my Clodsires are physical attackers, so the damage from Mudshot wouldn't be that much, and even if the damages weren't that different, the Revivroom has speed boost, so the speed gets increased at the end of every turn, so Mudshot is pointless. Because of the Screech, I switch into Captain Poop, who also has leftovers and doesn't take a lot from the Blazing Torque. On the second Blazing Torque, he does get a burn, which is really unfortunate for us, but we thankfully went for Mudshot because none of my other Pokemon knew Poison Jab. We surprisingly live another Blazing Torque, so we get another Mudshot off, but that's where the luck ends, as on the next turn we are taken out by a third Blazing Torque. This does get us a safe switch into Stinky, however, who, if you remember, can set up the Sandstorm. The Skadar Starmobile goes for a Screech, so we get a pop it for free, dealing some nice chip damage. I take the next turn to switch into Floater, to try and keep Stinky alive, but I switch him into a critical hit Blazing Torque that also burns. For some reason, he goes for Screech, so we get a free Mudshot in. I'm pretty sure that it had the kill there, but I'm not complaining. This does mean that the next turn there is no saving Floater, so he goes down as we send in a weak Uh-Oh. They go for a Screech as we get a Mudshot off. For some reason here, I don't want Uh-Oh to die, so I send in the Pooper holding a Muscle Band while we take a third for Blazing Torque. I guess it was because Uh-Oh was holding leftovers and that was my most valuable Pokemon because of the recovery. Anyways, it hits us with a Blazing Torque while we hit a weak Poison Tail. So we basically threw away the Pooper, but it wouldn't have helped me much either way. We get a safe switch into Stinky, who can dodge a Screech to set up a free Sandstorm. So in theory, we could get a free switch into a Screech, but I go for Sandstorm again because I was button mashing ahead, and it knocks Stinky low with a Blazing Torque. He goes for Overheat to finish us off, which is really good because that means we don't have to worry about that move anymore. Not that we did, the Poop Squad has really high special defense. Anyways, Uh-Oh comes in and takes a Blazing Torque as we go for a Mudshot. My calcs tell me that we live another Blazing Torque, so we stay in, not that we have much of a choice, but he crits a Blazing Torque, and the Sandstorm subsides, leaving us with Shatwoman, our last hope. He goes for Screech as we go for a Mudshot, which leaves it at 1 HP, and that's really awesome. This stupid car went for a Screech again, and we get the Mudshot to secure the win for us. Well, that brings us to the battle with the giant worm now. Now here's the difficult part. Earthworm has an exclusive ability, Earth Eater, which makes it completely immune to ground type attacks. Normally this Pokemon would completely wall us, as its ability and type make it completely immune to both ground and poison type attacks. But luckily, I had a plan. I taught everyone low kick. Yeah, that's it. It's like the easiest move to grind for that would solve all of our problems. And because I did that, the battle's like really easy. Like, wow, who saw that one coming? Yeah, anyway, here's the sandwich meme. The next stop is the Water Gym Leader. Now get this, the guy forgot his wallet on his way to the fish market, so the guy tells me to bring it to him and I'll pass the gym test. So I go there, his protege doesn't even believe me, so I battle him and win. And then I hand the guy's wallet and then he makes me win the food that he wanted in the first place. All for the right to battle him. Again, I had no idea how to explain all this, so I have a pretty good strategy for the gym, kinda. His lead Veluza has Mold Breaker, so I actually don't have a strategy, and my strategy is just to get rid of this thing and then I win. Anyways, he goes for a Pluck as I go for a Trailblaze with the Pooper. Then he goes for an Aqua Cutter and my Water Absorb fails because of the Mold Breaker, so I can only go for one more Trailblaze, and why in the world did you switch? Well, I switched into Floater because I wanted to set up the Toxic Spikes, which is a complete waste because I lose Floater and don't get a single move off. Nice move, Dick. I send in Captain Poop and take an Aqua Cutter pretty well as I take it out with a Poison Jab. He then sends out Wild Trio, so I take my next turn to switch into the Pooper, hoping to gain some health on a Water type attack, but he just goes for a Mud Slap, so the Pooper goes down. I send out Uh-Oh, who I Terrasilize and absorb a Water Pulse as I hit it with a strong Poison Jab. I do take some Sandstorm damage, but it's not a problem since I can heal it back up with leftovers. He then goes for a Headbutt and I don't flinch, so I can kill it with another Poison Jab. He then sends out his ace, Crabominable, which he Terrasilizes and hits us with a Slam. We retaliate with a Poison Jab and get the poison on top of that, so now it takes Sandstorm damage and poison damage. Then it goes for Slam, which misses, so we get a free Poison Jab off. Then it takes Sandstorm damage and then poison damage, and it lives on 1 HP, but it doesn't really matter because we have enough poopers in our back and it will die to poison next turn. So anyway, on to Team Star Poison. Get this, Atticus is literally Koga, a poison ninja. The only thing he's missing is his own gym and a daughter. Thankfully, it's poison type, so we wall them pretty well and can slam them pretty hard, especially with the stomping tantrums and one earthquake I grinded for. In his backstory, we learned he does art pretty good. Now we're on our way to the next gym leader. The man, the myth, the legend, Larry. Goddamn Larry. Do you want to know what the best part about this is? He's just a guy who does this. After doing his gym test faithfully and honestly and not looking up the answer online, I challenged Larry, the normal guy who uses normal type Pokemon. He leads with a Koala as I lead with Shatwoman. He went for a Slam as I set up Toxic Spikes, which I thought he was going to yawn, but he yawns the next turn so I can get up another Toxic Spikes, which is honestly better for us because now we can switch into Uh-Oh and tank another Slam, but instead of him using Slam, he just goes for yawn again. So I'm really confused about the artificial intelligence in this game, and I'm like, what the hell? So now I have to switch again, so I switch again into Floater, who takes a critical hit Slam, and then another Slam kills him. So that happened. Now I send out the Pooper, who will take a Slam instead of a Yawn, as I go for an Earthquake, which does over half. He goes for Yawn next, so I can finish it off with another Earthquake. He then sends out Dudunsparce, and I'm forced to switch here, so I switch into Shatwoman, who takes a hard Drill Run. I knew they were going to die this turn, I just wanted to safe switch into Captain Poop, who, on his turn, gets hit by a Drill Run, which doesn't do half my health, which is big news, and I can hit a low kick. And then he goes, I'm sorry, I can't get over the way. Why'd I say big news like that? Then he goes for a Glare, and I break through the paralysis, hitting it with a low kick and letting toxic damage do the rest. His final Pokemon, Staraptor, gets the Intimidate drop onto Captain Poop, which is fine because he's low HP and paralyzed, and I don't have a safe switch here. He Terrasilizes and then goes for a Facade, and I go for a Poison Jab, hoping I don't get a poison, that way he doesn't get the Facade boost. I honestly didn't think I'd live the Facade, so that's kind of why I played it that risky. Any damage on this thing is good damage right now, except poison damage, because what I just said. He KOs Captain Poop with another Facade, giving us a safe switch into Stinky, who can yawn it after taking a Facade. Unfortunately, Stinky doesn't live to see another turn as he gets knocked out by another Facade, but the Staraptor does fall asleep, giving us a few turns of safety. We send in the Pooper, and we Terrasilize and go for an Earthquake, because when you Terra, you lose all other types you have. But the next turn, he wakes up and hits this Facade, but we don't die and can KO it with another Earthquake, defeating Larry, a regular guy. Hi there, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and not show these next few battles because of Toxic Stall strats. The reason is the Toxic Stall strats are really just boring to watch because it's really just me going through a Clodsire and then Toxic Stalling and then going to the next. And I really couldn't show it to you even if I wanted to because the footage is gone and I can't get it back. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yay, Twitch. I mean, I did everything I could to try and recreate it, but there's really nothing I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and just move along to the Team Star boss. I mean, it's a pretty big jump, but I mean, I'm sure you guys understand. I hope it doesn't matter too much to you guys. I mean, it is just, I'm guaranteed to win this run. I have 6 of the best Pokemon in the game. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna carry it on from here. Now, the very last battle before I can wrap things up, Team Star fighting. The battle begins with her Toxicroak, which keeps trying to Sucker Punch, which allows me to set up my Toxic Spikes and my Spikes at max, which uses all of his Sucker Punch PP, forcing him to Poison Jab so I take less damage than normal. This means the Annihilate, who has Ice Punch, gets completely clobbered as he comes in. I'm able to get the Annihilate wiped out while still using Stinky, which is a very impressive feat. Lucario comes in next, who just takes a fourth of the HP before he wipes out our lead, but Chatwoman is able to clean things up pretty nicely, bringing us to King Julian.
Mauricio, I can't move it anymore.
I can Earthquake and stall it out to wipe it off the face of the earth, but that was all supposed to be easy because the hardest part of the battle, by far, is the Revivroom. It knows a move called Gear Grind, which powers up his speed sharply, which means nothing to me, but also his attack, which means a lot to me. And if it gets too high, we stand no chance, since it knows a move called High Horsepower, which deals super effective damage to all of my Pokemon. So, I did what any sane and impressive battler would do. Lower his accuracy. While this sped up mess is played, I'm just going to defend myself here and say that this thing can't be statused at all, so like no Yawn or Toxic can save us here. We get no moves that give us an advantage over it except Zen Headbutt, which doesn't help since the Revivroom has stamina, boosting his defense every time it takes damage. So I'm doing the most overpowered strategy for 10-year-olds playing through the game the first time. All I do is protect and Mud Slap so I can lower his accuracy the most it can be lowered. And then it becomes a slugfest, as a single High Horsepower can now one-shot my Pokemon due to the attack boost he gave himself, as we just saw with Captain Poop. Because of the stamina ability, I taught everyone Sludge Bomb, which does the most damage possible as it is a special move and my poopers don't have too shabby special attack. Now it's just a matter of if he misses a lot. To my surprise, they actually can live a high horsepower. I also try and protect in the middle of attacks to try and stall out his PP for the move, but it ends up not really mattering as Uh-oh clutches up and now we have to shut down the base. And just like that, the main stories are done and now it's time for the final bosses. I do the Elite Four test, and they actually care about your answers here, but it's also kind of weird that they never cared about it before. Anyways, here comes Rika, and she specializes in the ground type, which is perfect because that counters everything on my team. I can't really complain though, I chose to use 6 of the same damn thing. I lead with the Pooper holding an air balloon, and then immediately Terrasilize to get rid of our poison typing. This way, I hope to mitigate as much damage as possible as a Muddy Water fails to connect. I go for Trailblaze, but the speed boost isn't enough to outspeed this next turn, but he only goes for a Future Sight, so I can take it out with another Trailblaze. Her next Pokemon is a Camerupt, but because of the +2 speed, we can actually outspeed it. Yes, you heard that right. We can finally outspeed a Pokemon. This is breaking news. I've been Duga Live. The next Pokemon is a Donphan, which I also outspeed and can Earthquake for decent damage, as it hits an Iron Head, finally popping our air balloon. We finally take the Future Sight, which I completely forgot about, but because of our incredibly high special defense, it doesn't do that much to us. We go for Earthquake again, then they hit a very powerful Earthquake in retaliation, doing a lot more than I anticipated. I finish it off with a Trailblaze, with my dumbass thinking I can outspeed the incoming Doug trio, as it finally has the strength to stop the Pooper. I send an Uh-oh and it goes for Sandstorm and I set up my Toxic. Then I can protect to do as much damage as possible so I can guarantee the one-shot with Earthquake, provided they don't kill me first. Anyways, they get a crit with theirs, so I go for mine and I get to miss, and I kind of call bullshit on that because it's a thing that's literally in the ground. How does it not get hit by an Earthquake? I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. So anyways, I protect to delay the inevitable, and then protect again, which means we finally got the YOLO Swaggleberry double protect. I really thought that that was a really good bar. I failed the third time as we fall to another Earthquake. Oh wait, no, they just set up a Sandstorm and died. I see. They were actually trying to send a message because they wanted to sweep with their Terrid Clodsire. I get it, they're challenging the Master Clodsire Tamer. Foolish of you to even think that you stand a fraction of a chance. They Terrasilize to finish off Uh-oh, so I send in Captain Poop to try and wear it down. Next turn, since they protected here. So Captain Poop takes a beefy Earthquake as we do over a third with ours, so Captain Poop falls next turn, so I send in Floater, who outspeeds because he has a plus speed nature. Yeah, I forgot to say this whole time Floater has had a plus speed nature, so he's like the fastest of our round boys. He can outspeed with Earthquake, so he is the chosen one to take out her Clodsire. Maybe if she had 5 more of those instead, she would have stood more of a chance. The next Elite Four member is a literal child, which I would say is really lazy, but you actually can't overlook her team. Her steel typing is a double-edged sword. We can slam them hard with ground type attacks, but our poison is completely useless. Secondly, she has 2 Pokemon we can't even touch, Bronzong and Corviknight. They completely wall our team with Levitate and Flying typing, and yeah, this does mean we can't use Toxic strats here. This is our one shot, because even though the rules say I don't have to start over, I really don't want to. She sends out Copperajah, and I lead with Stinky holding an air balloon. We set up our Stealth Rocks, and they're forced to hit a Heavy Slam to pop our air balloon, as we nearly KO with an Earthquake. Then we just barely live the high horsepower, meaning we can KO her first Pokemon without losing one just yet. She sends in Bronzong, who finishes off Stinky with a Zen Headbutt. It's completely fine though, because Stinky can't touch Bronzong anyway, which is exactly what I wanted. I send in Floater, who outspeeds and hits a weak low kick, but for Bronzong it's pretty good damage. And they hit a Zen Headbutt that does about half our health, so that's not that good. We can protect here to get a little bit of leftovers recovery, and then low kick again, and I'm hoping we live on 1 HP or something from the Zen Headbutt, but we don't. This wouldn't have happened if I protected to recover the Stealth Rock damage, so that one's on me. Nevertheless, I send in Captain Poop and protect this time, even though he's holding a Rocky Helmet, because I forgot to take it off, but they play into that next turn, as they take the Rocky Helmet damage, but they do flinch us, so the Bronzong is still alive, and I'm down to 3 Pokemon. And they still have the Corviknight in the back. I send in Uh-Oh, who is holding a Leftovers this time, and can protect to recover the Stealth Rock damage, and then live a Zen Headbutt, and then flinch. So we protect again to gain a little health and try again. We live another Zen Headbutt, and then we get flinched. And then I just want to say that there's only a 10% chance to flinch at all, so the fact they got it 3 times a row is just beyond me. I send in the Pooper, who protects to recover some health, then tank a Zen Headbutt, and finally do not flinch, and we can take out the Bronzong. The next Pokemon to come in is the Corviknight, this second threat on her team. Things aren't looking so good, guys. I protect to get a little recovery and hope I have enough health to live a Brave Bird next turn, which we do by a little and can hit a weak low kick. I protect to stall the clock, then next turn we fall to a Brave Bird. In comes Shatwoman, our last hope for too many times to count. Although I'm not even sure she can pull off a comeback here. I don't even protect to recover, as I'm trying to end the match for us since all hope was lost. But then I had an epiphany. Corviknight was slowly killing itself with Brave Bird, which means we had a chance to have it kill itself, meaning the 2 walls Poppy has for our team are gone, meaning maybe we can pull off a win here. I protect to guarantee that I live a Brave Bird, so the Corviknight kills itself and we survive on a little HP. Magnezone comes in next and the Sturdy is broken with Stealth Rock, so I protect to gain a little health here as they set up a light screen. I rush to Calx thinking they would try attack, but they go for a Flash Cannon, which just barely lets us hang on, and we can kill it with an Earthquake. And now we're on our back foot as she sends in Tinkaton. We lose here. There's no possible win here. I protect here to try and delay the inevitable, as I like to do, but then this happened. I should have terrestrialized earlier, but I didn't think I'd win. Man. Flinching 3 times in a row. Did I just what? What? What in the world? Did you throw or something? What? Did I? How? Did what happen? I was not paying attention. I genuinely do not know how they did that or what the AI was cooking there. I really don't. I spent 10 minutes trying to understand why they would do that, and my best possible guess is the AI doesn't think you have EVs or something, so they see range based on the base stats of a Pokemon, and on an ordinary Clodsire it might have KO'd with it. I have no idea. I really don't. But hey, we beat up a child, and that's all that really matters. The next Elite Four member is Larry, of all people. The man's just a jack of all trades, a true Chad. They should have named him Chad and that would have been awesome. He leads with a Tropius, which again makes him a true Chad, while I lead with Stinky. They set up a sunny day like I had predicted, and I can set up our stealth rocks. This does mean they get a solar beam off, but it does absolutely nothing, so a poison jab can do half. We protect to recover a little bit of health, and then tank another solar beam and finish the Tropius off with a poison jab. Next comes Altaria, so we protect to gain a little health, and then an ice beam does absolutely nothing, as a poison jab hits the Altaria 10 times harder. We protect to recover a little bit more again, and then we can tank another ice beam, so a poison jab can... Oh. It froze us. I try and thaw out with a protect while they whittle us down with an ice beam, and after 2 turns we get the protect off. We can recover a little bit and poison jab to leave it at like 2 HP. We try and protect to see if we can live another ice beam, but we don't, and Stinky falls. I think Stream Duga said it best, so I'm gonna pass the mic towards him.
There is no god!
And now I'm gonna take it back. I send in Chatwoman, who can finish it off with Poison Jab, then comes in Staraptor, a familiar face who gets the Intimidate drop. They also hit hard with the Brave Bird, and because of the attack drop, we don't quite KO with a Rock Slide, so we have to protect here. And I'm thinking we live another Brave Bird, but after seeing our health, we say our goodbyes as we live on 1 HP so the Staraptor kills itself. You thought I was gonna go one way and say that she was gonna faint, but I went the other, and you thought that Oricorio comes in, and Chatwoman may not live an icy one from Oricorio, but the Pooper can, and can wipe it off the face of the earth with a Rock Slide. And getting confused, and then hitting a Poison Jab through it, but let's pretend that we killed it with a Rock Slide so it looks cooler. In comes Larry's ace, Fluffriend, and he terras and hits a nasty Brave Bird. We need to break through confusion here, which we do, and we can do our fair share of health with a Rock Slide. Then we break through confusion and protect to recover with just a little bit more, and then we switch into Captain Poop, who has Rocky Helmet, and the damage from that alone finishes off the Flamingo, leaving us with this one guy who's like important to the story, I guess, but I didn't really pay attention to these guys at all, so I don't care who the Elite Four are, except Larry, because he's the GOAT. And now, ladies and gentlemen and theater patrons, the world's most strategic setup you have ever seen. Stinky, the designated setter-upper, is out first against Noivern, who misses the immediate Super Fang so we can set up our Stealth Rock. They hit the next one as I set up a Spikes. I protect for some recovery, then they hit another Super Fang, and I can set up another Spikes. After a protect to recover, they set up Super Fang again, so we get our third Spike set up. The reason I didn't use Toxic Spikes in my setup is since they have a Poison type in their party, they can easily clear the Toxic Spikes, meaning I wasted turns to set up when I can easily just whittle this thing down. Dragon Pulse does not kill Stinky yet, so we live to hit another Poison Jab. We protect for the leftovers so we can live another Dragon Pulse and use Poison Jab again. We don't even try to protect, so we let Stinky fall to a Hyper Voice, and we can send in the Pooper, who can Rock Slide for the KO. They send in Dragalg immediately, who takes a third from their health from the hazards I set up, and they immediately go for a Hydro Pump, which we soak up with the Pooper's Water Absorb, and we get a critical hit Earthquake for the KO. I wish I could say the crit didn't matter, but it totally mattered here. Next comes in the Flapple, who isn't doing so hot, taking a third of their health and then missing a Dragon Rush and then falling to a Poison Jab. Next is Haxorus, and hopefully the strat I have planned is enough to take it out and not have to worry. Haxorus hits us really hard with the Dragon Claw, and we hit hard also with an Earthquake. It's kind of crazy how the damage is comparable. A dragon that clobbers anything stupid enough to get in its path, and a Haxorus. We unfortunately don't live another Dragon Claw, but Floater comes in and I Terrasilize, taking out about half with Dragon Claw, as I can take it out with a Poison Jab. Last but not least is Boxcalibur, who takes half from all the hazards, then terras as well and uses Glaive Rush, which KOs Floater but gets poisoned from his poison point. We send in Captain Poop, who has Rocky Helmet, which means we can tank an Icicle Crash, pop an Earthquake, and that means we just deleted the Elite Four.
So here we are, the last few steps before we've conquered the region of Paldea, with 6 of the best rando guys anyone could ask for. Gita is a champion who actually has a pretty terrifying team. She's not like Cynthia's levels of power, but she's definitely not one to be overlooked. With her lead Espathra knowing a move called Lumina Crash, which lowers my special defense every time I'm hit by it, it means that my Clodsires have about 1 turn to achieve greatness before they meet their fate of doom. I was very sleep deprived when I wrote that, but I actually have a strange plan here, but in the end I was really proud of it. Normally I would lead Stinky, the team setup sire, but this time around I lead with Captain Poop, who has the most special defense on the team and is in range to live 2 Lumina Crashes. They immediately Lumina Crash, which isn't the best for us because next turn it will immediately 50-50 the move of choice, either using Reflect because it knows we can't kill it, or Lumina Crash to kill off Captain Poop. Either way, our Toxic goes off without a hitch, and here's the gamble we have to make. We can either protect to stall a turn, but I don't want to protect on a Reflect. If you guys are ever in a situation like this, you should always protect no matter what, as it's the safest option at the time. I protect the reflect here and try to set up a toxic spikes, and I'm heavily punished for it as Captain Poop falls. Thankfully I planned around this and I send in Stinky, who, after Espathra sets up a reflect, can use toxic spikes. I know Espathra is going to Lumina Crash, so it's safe to set up toxic spikes again. I protect to stall out a reflect turn and a toxic turn, so all it takes is one more turn and Espathra falls. I thought about switching out, but I figured the best way to do this is to let Stinky go down so we have a clean switch. So I go for a second protect because there's no downside here, but we actually got it off, so yeah, Stinky's death is delayed. I go for Stealth Rock, which means Avalugg is going for Avalanche here. This is really good for us because Stealth Rock, believe it or not, makes a huge difference in this battle. Avalugg connects with the Avalanche and we actually barely hang on here. Seriously guys, what in the flip is this luck I'm getting? And the luck runs out as I accidentally go for Stealth Rock again and Stinky falls. Well, it had to end sometime. Floater comes in and I protect to stall out a turn and see what this guy's cooking. He tried to go for an Earthquake, which is good because we can live that, so we safely go for a Sledge Bomb, and after the toxic damage, a protect can guarantee the kill. Veluza comes in next and I don't have a protect to stall a turn and scat it out, so I get taken out by a liquidation. Uh-oh comes in and goes for an immediate protect, just to bring the Veluza closer to range so we can tank a liquidation at about a third, and a poison jab does nothing. But a protect from us can make sure that the Veluza falls. Gita's Go-Goat comes in next, and I thought Gita was going to bulk up here, but I guess the AI sees a threat here, so it goes on the offensive and hits a Zen Headbutt. But we actually live a Zen Headbutt, so we bring it down very low with a poison jab. A protect here isn't enough to stall the goat to death, so we go for a second protect and fail, but she misses her Zen Headbutt, so her goat dies and we still have Uh-Oh out. I was kinda counting on Uh-Oh to die here so I can cleanly switch into a Pokemon to actually do damage to her King Gambit, since our toxic spikes are useless against our last two Pokemon. King Gambit comes in to finish off Uh-Oh, so we can send in the Pooper and hope I don't die. A Zen Headbutt hits us to the red, but we don't die or flinch, so a low kick can bring King Gambit to red. I protect to scout and see if the AI is going for a corny move that we might be able to live, but it's just going for Zen Headbutt again, so I have to let the Pooper fall here. And Chatwoman, again being our clutch queen, comes in. I Terra Ground so we don't lose our psychic weakness, so Zen Headbutt doesn't hit us that hard and it doesn't flinch us, so we can take it out with a boosted Earthquake. In comes her ace, Glamora. Her Pokemon literally can't hit us that hard, even if it was Terra'd, as Earth Power does laughable damage, and Chatwoman actually finishes off her Glamora with one powerful Earthquake. And we finally have defeated the Pokemon League, which means that we are the official champion. Wait, so actually, we aren't done with this storyline yet. Do you remember Nemona, the rival I said wasn't hard until the end? I do. And Nemona is actually the last battle that we have to do for the champion storyline. But I actually don't fight her right away. I try and finish the other quests, like first fighting all of Arven's Pokemon and learning that his mom is deep inside of the crater of Paldea, so we go and do that first. Something happened to his dog, but I can't remember what. He's actually not that hard, like the entire Titan storyline. It isn't hard at all for us. He has a beefy squirrel who I toxic stall, a Minecraft rock who I immediately clobber, like the rest of his team is literally walled by a Clodsire. After our battle with Arven, he tells us to meet him back there once we get some powerful trainers to talk to his mother in the Paldean crater. So I make it my mission to go over and fight Cassiopeia. But I accidentally triggered the Nemona fight here, so here it is, the long-awaited Nemona battle. She leads with her Lycanroc and I lead with a Clodsire. Also, did I mention that I was a little underleveled for this? It doesn't really matter because you can see why I'm such a boss in a second. They set up a Stealth Rock so Stinky nearly kills the Lycanroc with an Earthquake. Nemona retaliates with a crit Drill Run, leaving us at 9 HP, but that's just enough so we can finish it off with an Earthquake. In comes her Orthworm, my greatest enemy or whatever, but I protect the stall and be a loser as Stinky falls next turn to an Earthquake. In comes the Pooper, who tears to lose our poison typing and take an Earthquake pretty well, but our low kick doesn't do a lot. But we can protect to widen the gap between us a little bit as we get hit by a hard Iron Tail, but we retaliate with a crit low kick of our own, taking out the worm. In comes her Gudra, so we protect to heal a little and find out it's going for Ice Beam, but next turn we accidentally go for protect again, so we fail and next turn we lose the Pooper. But I mean, honestly, this Gudra isn't too much of an issue for us, as it just has an Ice Beam, which does about a third of our health, so we tactic it and try to stall it out, so we can set up a Toxic Spikes. Once the spikes are set up, we are at a smidgen of health and actually successfully stall out the Gudra with our one little boyo, Captain Poop. Now that the spikes are set up, the rest of our team is really easy, as we can toxic stall our way through her Dunsparce, we hard counter her Palmot, so it's all down to our little starter Clods versus Donald Duck. We have Chatwoman at half health versus a poisoned Drag Queen bird, as she tears and tries to go for a Brick Break of all things, which is blocked by our Protect. I try and double protect here and I'm punished for it as she one-shots me with an Aqua Step. Then in comes Uh-Oh, who protects to block one Aqua Step, and then we block another one with our ability, Water Absorb, and then we can Poison Jab, and then we can protect to finish off the job with the toxic damage. I know I tried to say that it was going to be harder if I gave her Quaxley, but I mean, there was no starter that she could have had that would have changed any outcome of any battles, as she still has the Palma, which is considered one of her starter Pokemon, and we hard counter literally a lot of her Pokemon until this point. We go to the front of the school and meet up with Clive, and here I was like, Clive, what are you doing here? And he was all like, Tony Hawk. That's me. My character's name is Tony Hawk. I'm actually Cassiopeia, and I'm also not Clive, and I'm actually Director Clavel. What a twist. And I was shocked. I'd never felt more betrayed in that moment than in any other moment in that 30-second span. Fueled by rage, I battle him, and here is the most fun battle I've ever had. For those who cannot tell the difference, this was sarcasm, but I totally deserve this battle for being a toxic stall loser this entire run. He leads with Oranguru, and I really don't want to write a script for this battle, so here's a fun summary of what happened. Pew pew pew! Yarg! Shield! Oh no, it was blocked. Bigger shield. Pew pew pew! Shield! Oh no, it was blocked. Shield. Oh no, it was blocked. Yeah. Yarg. Shield. Oh no, it was blocked. Oh no, I died. Arg, I'm Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, starring Johnny Depp. I cast a big veil which makes your attack suck. Whomp. Oh no, my attack sucks. Shield. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Oh no, it was blocked. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Help, I'm stuck in ice. Help, I'm stuck in ice. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Oh no, now I'm dead. I'm here to revenge. Shield. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Blizzard noise. Oh no, it was blocked. Oh no, I died. I'm a big snake man, Oh no, I'm scared. Whapa. You fool, I'm immune to that. Now I'm a big Clodsire. Nom. Kapow, kapow. Well, shoot, I'm sick now. Shield. Rock attack. Oh no, it was blocked. Nom. Oh, my defense stat. Shield. Rock attack. Oh no, it was blocked. Oh no, I died. Ooh, I'm a ghost and also a teapot. Rah, I just broke my shell. Now I'm powerful for some reason. Whomp. Oh no, I died. Among Us Funny Moments Gameplay Volume 267. Bloop, 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 bloop. That was refreshing. Whomp. Shield. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh no, it was blocked. Bloop, 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 bloop. That was refreshing. Whomp. Oh no, I died. A fire starter on 4 legs. A fire starter on 4 legs. And some candles on my head. Pow, 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 pow. Whomp. Fireball, pew. Whomp. Oh no, I died. After this battle, he tells me he's not actually Cassiopeia, but sadly he really is Clyde, and now we have a mission to take out the real leader of Team Star. We arrive on the fields at night, like Clavel said, and we see Penny, and I realized she was never talked about this entire video, but she's actually the boss of Team Star, and here's the most boss battle theme in the entire game. Too bad she's really easy though. After Penny's defeated, she does stuff that I don't really care about with Team Star, and now we can dive deep into Area 0 to find Arvin's mom. We enter a lab with Arvin and we meet up with Nimona and Penny, and everyone hates each other. We talk to Professor Sada and she tells us to jump off a cliff, and then we jump off a cliff on top of our big dinosaur, and now we are in the area. She tells us to go to each and every lab to restore power so she can power up her base, and whatever. So we do that, and then we get to her base and we meet our little dinosaur guy's brother. I learned that ours is a little bit, and then we're warned by a voice that there is a dangerous thing inside the doors, and we open the doors and a bunch of Pokemon attack us, so we battle them all and then we head inside. If you can't tell, I'm rushing to the end of this video because this part was really boring. Inside we meet with Professor Sada, who is a robot, and we meet her big dinosaur, which is the same one as the big brother, and we're told some really cool lore about this Pokemon. But if you really wanted wanted to know the lore of this guy, you can watch something else, because this is all about our 6 cuddly little Clodsires, motherfucker. Basically, we have to destroy the time machine, but the AI is going to stop us from doing that, so we have to battle them in order to destroy it, since Sada acts as a last resort / guardian of the time machine. She leads with a Slitherwing, a Volcarona wannabe, and here I have Stinky, all ready to go in the front. I get hit by a Zen Headbutt as I'm trying to get a Toxic Spikes up. I would have gone for something else, but I didn't realize it had that move. I protect to stall a turn for no reason, then I let Stinky go down to another Zen Headbutt. So I send out Floater to try and finish the Toxic Spikes. He gets hit to half with the Zen Headbutt, and I'm ready to get the spikes off, so I protect to see if I can actually live a second one, but it doesn't matter since they missed their Zen Headbutt, so we get a Sludge Bomb off that also gets a Poison off, which is actually really awesome for us. I protect again, which actually has a legitimate meaning now, and then I'm hit by another Zen Headbutt, which knocks us in the red, and then we crit with our Sludge Bomb. So we can protect here, and I try and get a double protect, but it doesn't work and Floater falls, but Slitherwing falls as well, so now it should be a lot easier for us. Shatwoman comes in to battle her Screamtail, a creepypasta version of Jigglypuff, so I immediately protect to stall out a turn and block a Zen Headbutt. I get hit to above half of the Zen Headbutt, so we can hit her hard with a Poison Jab, and with Toxic it brings her down to about a 4th health. After a protect, we can tank a Zen Headbutt, then finish it with a Poison Jab, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable as her Brute Bonnet comes in. I know what you really are. I protect to get some health as they try and go for a Sucker Punch, which is a weird move of choice, in my opinion. A Sucker Punch actually slams us to 6 HP, but our Poison Jab hits a little bit harder. I spam Protect to make it waste Sucker Punches, so our little uh-oh gets to live as Brute Bonnet falls. Sandy Shocks comes in and ends uh-oh with an Earth Power. So we can send in a full health Shatwoman to wreak havoc upon Sandy Shocks, which, after an Earth Power, can slam it with an Earthquake and we can protect to finish it off. Fluttermane comes in and hits a weak Shadow Ball, so we can do a surprising amount of damage with a Poison Jab. After protect to stall it out, we get hit by a crit Shadow Ball, but Shatwoman gets revenge to take it out with a Poison Jab, and her Roaring Moon comes in, the last Pokemon between us and victory. The angle here is even better, and they get Mega Attack now because of the booster thing, so we protect to see what it's doing, but Shatwoman doesn't live to see the end of this battle, as we fail a double protect and fall to an Earthquake. Our leader, our king, our savior, Captain Poop, comes in and protects to stall out more poison turns, and then we try an Earthquake in retaliation after getting brutally hit by an Earthquake. But with the poison, it's just enough to end this battle on a protect, and with that, we defeated AI Sada and the entire game of Pokemon Scarlet with 6 of the best Pokemon in the game. I actually can't believe it. It was over. My grand adventure is at its end. It was actually a pretty difficult task, even if we did a really corny Toxic Stall strat. Maybe next time I'll try and do one Pokemon. I don't know what's ahead for me, but wait. Hold on a second. The time machine doesn't blow up, and our Win actually activates her Paradise Protection mode, which locks up her Pokeballs and means we have to fight her dragon with our dragon. This, of course, means that we used a Pokemon other than Clodsire, which, for those of you who don't understand, means we lose the run, because we used a Pokemon other than Clodsire. So there you are, there's the video, have a good night, everyone, goodbye. In all seriousness, it was a really fun run, and I had a lot of fun actually playing the game, and to be honest, the only reason I made this video was to say I actually made a Nuzlocke-esque type of video, and I'm really proud of it, even if some parts of the footage were lost. I don't know if I'll ever make another video like this. I don't really like the amount of time it takes to make a video like this, and honestly, it's not what I want to be known for. I'd rather be known as like some goofball with a sense of humor than a challenge run prodigy. I'd rather make content more frequently that takes the funny stuff from my stream and show that as progress than make a whole script and show hardly anything from it at all. That all being said, from start to finish on this video, seeing it come together better than anything else I've ever edited before is really amazing to me, and I honestly can't wait to see how I can make stuff even better. It was a whole lot of fun to play as well, and it was really nice, and I want to thank everybody in chat who's there. Even though I have like 3 viewers, it's still nice to know someone is there and I'm not just losing my sanity talking to no one. That all being said, if you want to watch me live, you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/DugaLive. This is where you can find me gaming and stuff if you're interested. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it here to hear this message, hi, thank you for seeing this all the way through. I really appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a good day, and until next time, I guess.